It starts like any other journey. Calm skies, open seas, and then nothing. No signal, no wreckage, no answers. Just another name lost to the Bermuda Triangle. For decades, this stretch of ocean has swallowed planes, ships, and stories whole. Experts are baffled. Witnesses are haunted. The truth still missing. What force lies beneath these cursed waters? Coincidence or something far darker? One thing's certain, the Bermuda Triangle is no ordinary stretch of sea. Let's dive into one of the greatest mysteries on Earth, if you dare. It was 2 p.m. on December 5th, 1945, when 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers lifted off from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This wasn't a combat mission. It was a routine training flight known as Flight 19. The squadron's path would take them over the Atlantic to a coral reef called Hens and Chickens, then up towards Grand Bahama Island, before looping back to base. Simple, predictable, but they were flying into one of the most mysterious stretches of ocean on Earth, the Bermuda Triangle. This area, stretching from Miami to Bermuda to Puerto Rico, already had gained a creepy reputation. Ships and planes had vanished here without a trace, some without a distress call, some with their last radio transmissions full of confusion and fear. Still, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, an experienced pilot with over 2,500 hours of flight time, led his group confidently into the skies. The weather was mostly clear, the seas were calm, and nothing suggested that this day would be any different than hundreds of training flights before it. At first, everything went according to plan. The squadron dropped their practice bombs over Hens and Chickens, then banked north towards the Bahamas. But then, something strange happened. Around 3:45 p.m., nearly 2 hours into the flight, Lieutenant Taylor's voice crackled over the radio. He sounded unsure, disoriented. "We cannot see land," he reported. "We seem to be off course." The Fort Lauderdale control tower tried to help, asking for their position, but Taylor couldn't say. Minutes passed, more static. Then another voice. "We cannot find west. Everything is wrong. Even the ocean looks strange." Taylor eventually handed over command to another pilot, only to take it back moments later. The transmissions grew more frantic. One pilot said, "It looks like we are entering white water. We're completely lost." That was the last clear message anyone received. 2 rescue planes were immediately dispatched. One of them vanished just 10 minutes after takeoff. No radio contact, no emergency signals, just gone. In a span of 30 minutes, 27 men and 6 planes had disappeared without a trace. Over the next few days, the Navy and Coast Guard launched one of the largest search operations in history, scouring more than 250,000 square miles of ocean. They found nothing. No debris, no oil slicks, no bodies. It was as if the planes had been erased from the sky. So what happened? One theory points to navigational error. Investigators later believed the compasses on Flight 19 malfunctioned. Taylor may have mistaken Grand Bahama Island for the Florida Keys and thought they had flown too far southeast, when in fact they were exactly where they should have been. Trying to correct course, he turned the squadron northeast, deeper into the Atlantic. Some of his men disagreed. They wanted to turn west. Eventually, Taylor gave in, but by then, the planes were likely too far out and low on fuel. They may have zigzagged hopelessly, trying to find their way home until their fuel ran dry and they crashed into the sea. But why wouldn't every compass on multiple planes fail? Geologists offer an explanation. Beneath Bermuda lies a massive, ancient volcano. Over millions of years, it left behind huge deposits of magnetite, the most magnetic substance on Earth. Some experts estimate that 500 billion tons of magnetite surround Bermuda, interfering with compass readings. In this region, compasses can point toward true north instead of magnetic north, a difference of over 1,200 miles. Even a 10-degree error in this ocean can be fatal. Researchers have found basalt rock, another magnetite-rich material extending 200 miles from Bermuda. Could this explain why so many planes and ships get disoriented in the triangle? Maybe, but there's more. Another theory gaining traction is the phenomenon of a methane blowout. Under the seafloor, methane gas can accumulate in icy formations known as hydrates. When these hydrates destabilize, often due to underwater landslides or rising ocean temperatures, the gas is released in explosive plumes. These plumes surge into the ocean and atmosphere, and their effects can be catastrophic for ships. The impact is particularly devastating. The methane reduces the water's density, causing vessels, no matter how large, to lose buoyancy and sink almost instantly. In the case of aircraft, a large enough methane plume could reach low-flying planes, stalling their engines or, in the worst case, triggering mid-air explosions. And the Flight 19 mystery isn't the only case. On January 28, 1948, just over 2 years after Flight 19 vanished, a British passenger aircraft called the Star Tiger was flying from Portugal to Bermuda. The aircraft had stopped in the Azores for refueling. The weather wasn't ideal, turbulent skies and storms were still active. Captain Brian McMillan, a veteran pilot, decided to fly low at just 2,000 feet to avoid high-altitude winds. At 3:15 a.m., the Star Tiger radioed Bermuda to confirm its location. Everything was normal. But at 3:50, when the tower tried to follow up, there was no reply. By 4:40 a.m., still no word. A state of emergency was declared. The U.S. Air Force launched an extensive search. 26 military aircraft flew over 882 hours across vast swaths of ocean. Nothing was ever found. Some believe that Tiger Star was brought down by a methane blowout. Others point toward a terrifying possibility: pilot error. Throughout the flight, Captain McMillan mistakenly told Bermuda that he was flying at 20,000 feet instead of 2,000. In the darkness over the Atlantic, he may have begun descending, believing he had plenty of room, only to fly straight into the ocean. And still, there's more. On December 27, 1948, just months after the Tiger Star's disappearance, another passenger plane vanished. A Douglas DC-3 was preparing to leave San Juan, Puerto Rico, bound for Miami. The pilot reported battery issues and communication problems. The plane took off at 10:03 p.m. and reported its altitude an hour later. But strangely, the message reached Miami 700 miles away, but not San Juan, which was much closer. Later, another message was picked up by New Orleans, 600 miles off course. Miami tried to respond. Nothing. The DC-3 had vanished. No distress call, no wreckage, no survivors. Some believe strange atmospheric conditions disrupted the radio waves, but no theory fully explains how an aircraft with functioning systems could vanish without a trace. So, what do we make of all of this? Is it magnetic interference from ancient volcanoes, violent methane blowouts, human error, and bad luck, or something else we haven't even considered? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: the Bermuda Triangle isn't just a story. It's a place where logic falters, instruments lie, and sometimes planes and people simply disappear. If you found this mystery as chilling as we did, smash that like button, subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss a moment of the unknown. We want to hear from you. What's your take on the Bermuda Triangle? Is it natural forces at play, or is there something more sinister lurking beneath? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you for tuning in to explore the unexplained with us. Until next time, stay curious and keep your eyes on the horizon. Who knows what's out there waiting to be discovered?